Hello dear students, myself Mrs. SHITAL BHATT from Adarsh Education Society welcome you all for the video lecture of English. Today we will learn the poem Have You Ever Seen from unit number 1. This is your poem, Have You Ever Seen? This poem has no title and you can see that the beginning of the first line has been used as the title instead. The author of the poem is unknown, so we write anonymous there. Anonymous means unknown. Now let us first read the poem. Have you ever seen a sheet on a river bed, or a single hair from a hammer's head? Has the foot of a mountain any toes? And is there a pair of garden hose? Does the needle ever wink its eye? Why doesn't the wing of a building fly? Can you tickle the ribs of a parasol, or open the trunk of a tree at all? Are the teeth of a rake ever going to bite? Have the hands of a clock any left or right? Can the garden plot be deep and dark? And what is the sound of the birch's bark? Did you notice anything special in this poem? Yes. If you observe the lines very carefully, you will see that the poem is written with the use of homographs, which creates humor while you read the lines. You will also notice that each line of the poem is a rhetorical question. So before explaining the lines of the poem, let me tell you what are homographs, rhetorical question, and a very important figure of speech what we are going to learn today in this poem, that is pun. So let us move ahead. First, let me tell you what is a homograph. The word homo is made up of two words, homo and graphs. Homo means same, graphs means writing. So the definition of homograph is a word that has the same spelling as another word but has different or at times same pronunciation and different meanings when used in different context. For example, look at the word live I have given over there. I have used 3 examples here, live, bat and fine. Now I will give you 2 sentences for the word live. The first is, we cannot live without water. And the second, I am using the same word, same spelling. But see how the meaning differs. I was watching live cricket match. Live and live has the same spelling. But when they are used in different sentences, they have different meanings. Another example is the word bat. I will frame 2 sentences for the given word. See how both the word differs in their meanings. My friend has a new cricket bat. BAT, bat. Now your bat means the tool which you use to play cricket or any other game, the badminton racket, the bat. Okay. Another sentence is using the same word BAT but with its meaning an animal. The bat is usually seen during night time. The third example is of the word fine. Listen to the sentence. Her dress is made of fine silk. Fine over here means of very good quality. The second sentence, the driver had to pay fine for not wearing the helmet. Here fine means penalty. So homographs are the words which have same spelling, but when they are used in different sentences, their meanings differ. Let us now look at some more examples of homographs. The first example I have already discussed with you, that is BHATT, which means an animal also and a piece of sports equipment also. The another word which I have given here is can, C-A-N. The one meaning of the word can is a container, and the other meaning is a modal auxiliary, or you can say a helping verb. The third example is bow, that means a type of knot. It also means to bend down. Next is fine, meaning good quality also and a penalty also. Look at the next word, tear, that means to rip. The next meaning is a drop of water from the eye, that is tear, T-E-A-R. So it can have the same pronunciation, sometimes the pronunciation differs. Compare the words, the first one, bat and tear, okay. BAT, bat is having the same pronunciation but difference in meaning. The word tear is having different pronunciation also, tear and tear, okay. Drop of water from the eye is called as tear, to rip apart is called as tear, but the spellings are same. Now look at the next word, wound. Wound means to injure, okay, or an injury. Another word is wound, that is the past tense of wind. So here these are called as homographs. There are some more sentences here where I have used some words which have the same spelling, but when they are used in different sentences, their meaning differs. Here I have used the word fan. In the first sentence I have used fan as a noun, and in the second sentence also I have used it as a noun, but the meanings of both the words differ. In the first one, John is a big fan of cricket. Here the meaning of fan is an admirer or an ardent follower. John is a big admirer of cricket. I use the same word fan again in the next sentence. Please switch on the fan. Now here fan means a device which is used to create a current of air. So see how the same word, when it is used with the same pronunciation, but it has different meanings in different sentences. Here I have another example for you. I have used the word file over here. Look at the first sentence. Students file into the classroom. Here file is a verb, that means to proceed in a line. Students proceeded into the classroom in a line. The second example, she gives file to his master. Here file is an object, so it's a noun. Now that is a container or an object to keep papers in order. I have used the same word in both the sentences. It is having the same pronunciation, but when they are used in different sentences, they differ in their meanings. So such words are called as homographs. So students, I hope you have understood what are homographs. Now let us move on to the use of the figures of speech used in the poem. Now why am I telling you about the figures of speech without the explanation of the poem is that because the whole poem is written in such a way that it creates an effect, a humorous effect in the minds of the readers or the listeners who listen to the poem. And the two main figures of speech used over here are interrogation and pun. Now figures of speech, as you have learnt in your previous class, is a deviation from ordinary use of words with a view to increase their effect. It's a form of poetic device where the poet uses a style instead of using ordinary words so that the effect of the poetry increases. So here we are going to learn about two important figures of speech which has created humor in this poem. The figure of speech is pun and another one is interrogation. Now let's see what is a pun. Now pun is a figure of speech which is used in such a manner that it is capable of creating more than one meaning. It also creates humor, okay, where different words having the same sound are used in the same sentence. In short, you can say pun is a play on words. Now let us see at one example where I have used the homograph, okay, same word which is having the same sound, but we see that the meaning differs and it creates humor in the sentence. Look at the example. A teacher trains the mind, a driver minds the train. Now here the word train has been used two times. In the first part of the sentence, a teacher trains the mind. Here the word train means gives training, coaches. Okay, it is used as a verb. While in the second part of the sentence, a driver minds the train. Here train means the vehicle, which is a noun over here. So this sentence what I have taken here is an example of pun. That means amusing use of words in the same sentence to create humor, to arouse curiosity for one to listen and to hear the sentence. Now another figure of speech used in this poem is interrogation. So let us see what is interrogation. Now interrogation is a statement written in the form of a question. Here no answer is expected. These are also called as rhetorical questions, okay, where the poet wants to emphasize on the fact what he wants to tell the readers. Now look at the two examples here. What female heart can gold despise? Here the poet is not asking a question whether the female heart is as pure as gold, but he is telling the readers that yes, the female heart is like gold. Look at the second example. Are we not the finest people in the world? Here the poet wants to tell that we are the finest people in the world, but he has used the words in such a way that it takes the form of a question, and such questions are used throughout our poem, have you ever seen, to create a poetic effect in the minds of the readers. So now, as you have understood what is pun and interrogation, let us proceed to our poem. Now this is the textbook image of the poem, have you ever seen. I shall read the poem, please listen to it carefully. Have you ever seen a sheet on a riverbed, or a single hair from a hammer's head? Has the foot of a mountain any toes? And is there a pair of garden hose? Does the needle ever wink its eye? Why doesn't the wing of a building fly? Can you tickle the ribs of a parasol, or open the trunk of a tree at all? Are the teeth of a rake ever going to bite? Have the hands of a clock any left or right? Can the garden plot be deep and dark? And what is the sound of the birch's bark? So this is your poem, children. As the poet is unknown, we have written anonymous there. Anonymous means the poet of the poem is unknown. Now let us analyze the poem line wise. This is the first stanza of the poem, children. I have already read out the poem to you. Look at the first line. Here the meanings of some words on the first line are given. Okay, we will see how same word is used but with two different meanings in this poem. Okay, the first line, the word bed, river bed. River bed means the bottom of a river where the ground is, and another bed is the bed on which humans sleep. Okay, a furniture in our bedroom. The next word, hammer's head. Now here also this is used as a homograph. Hammer's head. The top of the hammer is called as the head of the hammer, and another head is the human head. So see the meanings and the homographs both used in the same lines. In the first line the homograph bed is used. So two different meanings of the word bed we can find over here. One is a piece of furniture, another one is the bottom of a river. In the other one, in the second line, we find again head used as a homograph, head of a person, and the head means the top of the hammer's head. Look at the third line. Has the foot of a mountain any toes? Now foot again is used as a homograph here. Foot means the foot of the human body, and the other meaning of the word foot is the lowest part or the bottom of the mountain, you can say. In the last line, that is the fourth line of the poem, the word hose. Okay, it also has two meanings. One is a pair of socks or stockings, you can say, or the tights, and the other meaning is a flexible pipe which is used in the garden to water the plants. So the poet has very wisely used the words to create a humorous effect in the lines. Look at the first two lines. I will tell you the meaning of the first two lines in detail. Have you ever seen a sheet of a river bed or a single hair from a hammer's head? In this lines, the poet talks about a sheet for a river bed and the hair for a hammer's head. These words are puns, as a sheet means a bed sheet which we spread on the bed, but the river bed means the bottom of the river. So both the bed has no relation to each other. In the second line, the top of the hammer is called the hammer's head, and the poet alternatively talks about the human head and refers to the hammer's head as hairless. Human head has hair, but the hammer's head is not having hair. The poet asks if anyone has ever seen a sheet on a river bed or hair growing on the hammer's head. So you can say that, the poet has, this poem is very light-hearted and the poet has used homographs to create humor in this poem. Let us move ahead. Look at the next two lines. Has the foot of the mountain any toes? And is there a pair of garden hose? I have already told you the meaning of the word hose in the previous slide. Okay. Hose means a pair of stockings or the tights, and it also means a flexible tube used to water the garden. And the foot of the mountain. Foot of the mountain means the lowest part, the bottom of the mountain. And another another meaning of the word foot is the human leg, okay, the lowest part of the human leg. That is also called as foot. So in these lines, the poet says that the foot of the mountain means the base of the mountain has no relation to the human foot. So it does not have toes like human foot does, but both the bottom of the mountain as well as the foot, okay, both are called as foot. The poet further refers to a garden hose, which is a flexible tube used to water the plants, and he compares it to the homograph hose, which means a pair of stockings. So through these lines, the poet is asking whether the mountain foot has toes like humans, or whether the garden hose is in a pair like the stockings what humans wear. So again, the poet has very wisely used homographs to create pun and also interrogation in the lines. This is the second stanza of the poem. Does the needle ever wink its eye? The meaning of wink is closing and opening of the eye. Why doesn't the wing of a building fly? Wing of the building means a part of the building that is attached to the main part. Okay, you have different wings in your building, A wing, B wing, etc. The third line, can you tickle the ribs of a parasol? Now parasol means umbrella. Okay, ribs has two meanings again over here. Ribs also means the curves of the umbrella, okay, or you can say the rods of the umbrella which are arranged in the form of curves. They are called as ribs of the umbrella, ribs of the parasol. Another meaning of ribs is the curved bony structure which humans have in the body. So they are also called as ribs, the rib cage, as you learn in your science. The next line is, or open the trunk of a tree at all. Now again, trunk carries two meanings over here. One meaning is the main part of a tree from where the branches grow, and the another one you can say the boot of the car, the back of the car, or the big a metal storage box which usually people in the villages have to store lot of things, which is made up of metal. That is also called as a trunk. Now let us see what the poet wants to tell over here through these lines. Does the needle ever wink its eye? Why doesn't the wing of a building fly? Now in this second stanza, the poet refers to the needle's eye and wonders if it winks like a human eye. Now look at that part of the needle through which we put in the thread. That part of the needle is called as the eye. And eye is also the sensory organ of human. So a human can wink their eyes. Then why can't the needle wink its eye? So this is a rhetorical question put up by the poet. Another one is of the use of the word wing. Now birds have wings, and those wings help the birds to fly. Buildings also have wings. Then why can't the building fly? So you can see that in each and every line, by using the homographs to create humor and by putting up a rhetorical question, the poet has very well created curiosity and also humor through word play, or you can say play on words. This is a very light-hearted poem. It does not have a very deep or sensitive meaning, but it's a very light-hearted poem. The next line you can see over here is, as I told you, the parasol means the umbrella. The ribcage is shown in the picture here. On the other side we have a tree trunk, and the another one, the trunk, the huge storage box metal which is made up of metal. Can you tickle? Now tickling, what is the meaning of tickling? When you tickle the ribs, tickling you can say Hindi mein gudgudi karna, okay. So when you tickle someone, what happens? A person laughs, human laugh. So those ribs of an umbrella, those metal rods of the umbrella are also called as ribs. Then why doesn't the umbrella laugh? Why can't you tickle the umbrella? On the other side, the trunk, which is a metallic storage box, a huge box made up of metal, that can open and shut. But can the trunk of a tree be opened? So here again, by using the homograph, the poet has added to the humor. Look at the next stanza. Are the teeth of a rake ever going to bite? Now what is a rake? A rake consists of a long pole attached with a tooth bar, usually used to cut the grass, or usually to remove the soil from the garden or from the field. That is a rake, and the rake has teeth through which you draw out the grass or cut the grass. So that is also called as a teeth. Humans also have teeth which we use to bite. So here the poet says, are the teeth of a rake ever going to bite? That means whether these teeth which are attached to the rake can bite like human teeth. The next line is, have the hands of a clock any left or right? Now here human have hands, the clock also has a hand, the hour hand, minute hand. Human hands have left hand and right hand. Then do the clocks also have left or right hand? Can the garden plot be deep or dark? Now here the word plot conveys two meanings. One meaning is a small area in a ground, and the other meaning is an evil plan of a story, the plot. So the story can be, the garden plot can be deep and dark. Can a plan also, an evil plan, be deep and dark? And what is the sound of a birch's bark? Now here birch is a name of a tree, and bark, if you look at the word bark, again it conveys two sounds. One is the sound of a dog, and the other meaning is the hard cover of a tree. So the poet has used homographs in these lines also. Let us try to understand these lines. Are the teeth of a rake ever going to bite? Here the poet has made a reference to the teeth of a rake, which he is comparing to the human teeth. And he questions whether the teeth of the rake can bite like human teeth do. And in the next line, the poet wonders whether the hands of the clock are right or left like the human hand. Can the garden plot be deep and dark? And what is the sound of the birch's bark? Here the poet is asking if the garden plot can be deep and dark like the plot of a story. And later on he questions whether the bark of a birch tree can also make a sound like the bark of a dog. Thus the poet is making use of amusing puns to bring about a dual meaning of certain words. So these words are called as homographs. Now what is the central idea of the poem? Or you can say the theme of the poem. It's a very light-hearted poem first of all, where the poet has beautifully used homographs and puns. Now homographs, as I told you, are the words which have same spelling, okay, but they have different meanings when they are used in different sentences. And also we have discussed about pun. It is a figure of speech where a form of word play, okay, where multiple meanings of a same sounding word is used to create humorous effect. Actually it is intended to use homographs and homonyms to add humor in the lines. Thus the poet has used these type of words to create an imagination, or you can say to make the readers understand the fun in the poem. He conveys a message that things which are spelled the same, which is having the same spelling, can actually sometimes differ in their meanings when they are used in different sentences. Again we can see that the poet has used questions in each of the lines. Now these interrogative sentences are used in each line to make the readers think on the intended dual meaning which are produced due to the use of homographs and pun. So this was all about the poem. Have you ever seen? Thank you. Stay home, stay safe. Bye.